Hello, my lovely friends, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about something a little bit different, and this is a totally impromptu video. I was not planning on making this video. I was not, I don't know what I was going to do tonight, but make this video was not on my bingo card. However, there's been a couple things that have come up today, and I thought, you know what, let's just share this. Let's just talk about this. And what we're going to talk about is journaling through some difficult days, some difficult times, and some difficult holidays. And I think the one thing that for sure, the one thing that I've been noticing lately, because for my American friends, your Thanksgiving is coming up. And, you know, it's sort of the kickoff to the holidays in the sense that there's your Thanksgiving, then we have Christmas coming and New Year's and all the stuff. And so for a lot of us, this can be a difficult time. Let's just put it out there and be honest. And I'm not going to be Debbie Downer. I promise I'm not going to be Debbie Downer. And no offense to Debbies. Please. I have a very good friend named Debbie. So I just want to put this out there because I feel like if it's something that I'm struggling with and it's something that is kind of heavy on my mind, then for some of you as well, I'm sure it's heavy on your mind. So let's talk about it, and let's talk about, let's just talk for a little bit, you know, because it feels good to share these things, and it feels good to know that you're not alone and to know that you're not the only one. And I am notorious for thinking that I am the only one. And intellectually, I know that's not true. I know I'm not the only one. But there are times when you're going through a difficult, whatever it is, whether it's a difficult phase, a transition of sorts, I don't know. Like there's 100 things we could be going through. We're not alone, but we feel alone. And I think it's important that I also stress I am not a mental health professional at all, on any level. I am someone who has, however, struggled with a very, very difficult relationship with my mother. And subsequently, I have been involved in family therapy for a very long time to deal with the issues surrounding my mother. And I don't talk about this a lot. My friends know that, you know, that it wasn't easy. Here's Lucy to say hello. And so while I'm no expert, I'm somebody I'm somebody who certainly comes by this honestly, in the sense that I have had to deal with some very difficult situations growing up and subsequently as an adult. So, you know, like everybody else out there, I've had to put up with some stuff, and I've had to struggle with some stuff and try and decipher and decode some stuff and figure some stuff out. It's not easy. So there's that component of it. There's that. Then there's the fact that, you know, we're a journaling community, and we journal for various reasons, but we journal because we want to preserve, and we want to share, and we want to connect, and the reasons why we journal, I think, are really as individual as we all are, right? I mean, there's a common thread, of course, as to why we journal. But we also journal on many levels to get things out and to try and process feelings and to try and process things that we don't understand. Oh, I could write many journals about the things that I don't understand. We journal about, you know, things that we're trying to just figure out why people do the things that they do. We journal to try and, we journal as a release, you know, and okay. Loose? Can we? There, that's good. We journal as, or not as, we journal to release many times. We journal to, you know, fill in the blank. Why do you journal? You know, we journal because we need to have somewhere that we feel safe, where we can put our feelings down on paper, whatever that looks like. We try and put our feelings into art. We try and make sense of our feelings through visuals and colors. And, you know, that's the beauty of the journal, is that it's endless, and it's so healing, and it's supposed to be healing, and it's supposed to be cathartic, and it's supposed to be a place where we can go when needed to exhale and discharge some things that need to be put out into the universe, right? And so, you know, with the holidays coming, and there's been I've noticed a lot of talk about family, and there's a lot of talk about the importance of family, and of course family's important. It's supposed to be the bedrock of everything, right? Of security and safety and acceptance. But sometimes it's not. And you know, this can be very, very difficult. Now again, I'm no expert. I'm just really here to put some stuff out there, because again, we tend to sometimes think in our struggles that we are alone, and also in our struggles there is a certain amount of guilt. Let's be honest, there's a lot of guilt. There can be an enormous amount of shame. There is an enormous amount of confusion. And with all of that can come a sense of isolation. And the thing is that we all share in these struggles. It's just that how we process this information can be very different. How we deal with the information can be very different. Because we all have different ways of coping. We've all developed different ways of dealing with our feelings, our shame, our fears, our families, our friends, the people that are close to us. And I really just wanted to make a video that emphasizes the fact that, first of all, you're not alone. And I think that's key, because again, do you know how many times I've watched a video where somebody's talked about the same sort of thing, and I was like, oh my God, you too? You're like, wait a minute, you do. Like, I don't know why we think we're alone, because I guarantee you, if you've thought it, if you felt it, so is like a million other people. But yet we constantly feel like we're just so isolated and separated from other people when we have the dark, heavy, what I call the dark feelings to process. And so what happens is, and again, this is for me, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but you know, sometimes when we have these dark feelings, we don't want to put them in our journals, because we don't want to taint the beautiful works of art that we've created through our journals with, you know, the difficulties, the heavies, the struggles of life, the feelings that we don't maybe really want to acknowledge, the feelings that we don't really want to come in, like, you know, they're gross. They feel uncomfortable. We don't like them. They make us feel insecure. They make us feel confused. They, you know, life would, sometimes I'm like, can I just not have these feelings? And you know, it's no secret on this channel that I love to talk, and I love to, and I can talk and talk and talk and talk about my feelings, but I'm not always the best at feeling the feelings, and especially the difficult feelings. And so subsequently, I like to try and avoid those feelings sometimes. And, you know, like I said, the holidays are coming. This brings up a lot of stuff for a lot of people. And I know certainly for me over the years, with the difficulties that I've had with my mother, has presented some real issues for me. Because what the holidays often mean for other people, they don't necessarily mean for me. And so what I really want to, you're like, where are you going with this? This is sort of a ramble and a bit of a rant, or not a rant. I'm really just more wanting to share the fact that the difficulties over the holidays can be very stressful, because the holidays on to themselves can be a stressful time. It's busy and there's a lot going on, and but we're also usually over the holidays we're connected with people who maybe we don't want to be connected to, people who we don't want to see, people we just don't want to be around. And I know that sounds terrible, but that really is the fact of the matter, is that oftentimes the holidays make us face situations and people that we would rather not. And I know that there's some people that are out there that think, well, you know, you just suck it up and get over it, and you do the right thing, and you go to the family event, or you go to the event, or you do the thing. And yes, as grown-ups, we often have to do things that we don't want to do, and we see people that we don't want to see. And we're confronted with things that we don't want to be confronted with. Okay, sure, we can do those things. But I feel that it's also very important then to give yourself the absolute necessity of self-care, and you are able to get rid of, purge, journal about, and get out those feelings and those thoughts and those difficulties. So, you know, it's a little from column A and a little from column B. So you go through the family thing, or, you know, I keep using the word family because I mean, you know, I'm sort of picturing that traditional, you go to somebody's house for dinner and there's food and you talk and you do all that kind of thing. But it, you know, I'll use the term family loosely. How about that? And so the thing is that I feel that if that's part of the holidays for you, is being put in some uncomfortable positions, then you should be allowed to give yourself the room and time and space to be able to process those feelings and those thoughts and those difficulties in a positive way. And I have talked on this channel a couple times about my idea of how I like to really let out some of the things that I don't understand, that I'm frustrated by, that I'm confused by. And these are the things that I don't want to put in my really nice journal, because I've made my journal really nice and I don't want to have it full of bad mojo, bad feelings, bad energy. For me, I like to separate these two things. Because when I'm flipping through my nice journal, my pretty journal, my art journal, for me, that's a happy place. That's a place where I like to go and have lots of lovely memories. And I see the things from my friends and my pen pals. And I see the things in there that make me happy and make me feel relaxed. Maybe these things also help me feel a little bit more confident. They help to enrich my creativity and help me connect with different creative abilities. Like, it's really, that journal is really a journal where I'm like, ah. You know what I mean? Whereas this kind of a journal is a journal that, you know, this just says it all. And I don't know where this came from. This is an illustration that I found on the internet years ago. And it just speaks to me. It speaks to me in ways that I can't quite articulate, but it says everything about what goes into this journal. And I've mentioned this idea on this channel a couple of times, and I've suggested it to friends over the years. And it's not a miracle cure. I don't know if this will work for you, but because it works so incredibly well for me, I really want to share it, because, again, you just never know how sharing something can be helpful to somebody else, right? So, maybe this won't work for you, maybe this will work for you, but my hope is that if for nothing else, it will inspire you to consider a journal, something like this, so that you can release some of the difficult feelings as well. So this journal is just a cheap dollar store notebook. And I specifically picked something that I'm not going to become emotionally attached to in any way. So it's disposable, and I buy it and I go into this journal knowing that this is disposable. And for me, this is one of the great things about this journaling in this way, is that it's only designed to be a one and done sort of thing. So what I do is I get my cheap journal, I get the biggest marker Sharpie that I can find. If this is a Sharpie, it's called a king size. If you know of a bigger one, let me know. I'm all ears, because I would love to actually have something that's a little bit bigger. And then what I do is I just start randomly writing kind of one word, just one word, one feeling. So in the beginning of this, I wrote, "It's safe here to speak freely." And for me, this is the big thing about this journal. This is a no holds barred. That's how you say it, right? No holds barred? You know what I mean. This is no censorship. The only censorship in this journal today is that I didn't use the regular 4-letter words that I normally would word. Because I don't know who's watching and I don't want YouTube to shut me down. But this is just free range. This is uncensored. This is not holding anything back. This is exactly how I feel, and it's raw. It's angry. When on the days that I can do angry, because sometimes anger is a little bit difficult for me. But it is, hands down, one of the most liberating and freeing way of journal that I have figured out to date, to how to get out the stuff that I need to purge, for lack of a better word. And there are days when I'm in the mood to just write out long form all the things that I'm thinking and all the feelings that I'm feeling. But for the most part, I find this incredibly freeing. And so I just put some stuff in here just to give you a visual. And then I actually just made a quick little video that I'm going to stick in here while I'm talking. Just, again, to give you a visual, even though I know that you know what it looks like to write big, giant letters and words in a book. Because we're visual people, I think it's always nice to just have a visual, just to have one. And so here I'm just writing, and I'm writing, and the trick for me is not to overthink it, because, you know, I am an Olympic champion at overthinking. And one of the reasons, again, why I find this to be incredibly, incredibly soothing and helpful is that I don't have to overthink. It's just the word that comes to mind, or the quick phrase that comes to mind, and I just write it out and write it out. And you know what? I've had books where I have written out one word over and over again. I don't know, maybe 50, 60 times. Maybe I'm just really annoyed at something, and I don't like what somebody has said or somebody has done. And I would just write the word no over and over and over and over until I don't feel the need to write it again. Okay, so here I just have why, because, you know, there's sometimes people do stuff and I'm just like, why? I may never get an answer to that question, but I'm telling you, it feels great. It feels so good to just write it out over and over again. It was wrong. I don't deserve this. I don't. Right? And then No, no, no. This is what, some of this is what was in the video. It's not okay. It's still not okay. Not okay. Why? I'm telling you, my friends, I'm done. I'm done. I'm tired. I have 0 left. I've got nothing left to give. Some days you're just like, I'm done. This is a personal favorite. I have to admit, just one big giant no. Couple of times. Feels great. Go away. Go away is another personal favorite. I'm sorry. You know, sometimes you gotta write it out a few times before you can say it in person. Another personal favorite is I'm very confused. And so, you know, it just goes, oh, I haven't written any more, but that just goes on and on and on in there, indefinitely. So a couple other things, why this works well for me. Because it's disposable, so when I'm done, and you know, if I'm having a particularly difficult time, a book like this can last a couple of days. Because I just get out my Sharpie and I'm just... right? And so when I'm done, I can do a couple things. Sometimes I rip the pages out and I shred them. And I sort of give that back to the universe. It's like, okay, I got it out. Now I'm shredding it. And that feels great too. And then I just shred it and it goes in the bin. Sometimes I toss it in the garbage. Sometimes I put it away. Not often. I will say it's not often that I get these books out and I reread them. Because again, it's a one and done for me. So I don't need to go back and think about why did I feel that way, or why was I wanting to say no a million times that afternoon, or why was I writing no, why, or whatever the word was, right? And the other thing is, I know we've talked about in a couple other videos about why sometimes we don't journal the hard thoughts or the hard feelings because we're afraid somebody's going to see it. And, you know, that's totally legit. I mean, that's absolutely a thing. Because you all hear these stories, whether it's somebody's... Excuse me. Can we move it along? Whether it's somebody's passed away and family are going through their journals, and, you know, whether it's just fallen into nefarious hands. There's a million reasons, my friends, why you don't want to name names and say things in some of your journals. And one of the reasons why, again, I love this is because I know who I'm saying no to. I know who I'm saying a whole bunch of 4-letter words to. I know. There's no question in my mind who that's directed at. But I don't need to put the name down. It's clear to me. So you can get out a whole lot of a whole lot and not have to say anybody's name. And so God forbid, if something happened to you and before you were able to dispose, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know. It's just between you and your Sharpie. My friends, between you and your Sharpie. So, you know, that for me is a big deal, because, I mean, I have questioned, like, you know, a lot of you, I've questioned over the years who's going to deal with my stuff when I'm gone. And God forbid, again, something happened to me tomorrow and people are, you know, going through my stuff to get rid of it or whatever. There's a lot of things that I just, even though I'm dead, I just don't want people to know. And I know this isn't the most pleasant of topics, but we've all considered this, right? And so you can be as free and as uncensored as you need to be in a book like this. And if somebody reads it, well, then they can know that you were just really pissed off, or you were really hurt, or that you were really confused, or you're really sad, or you're really angry, or you were struggling with shame. And, you know, that's just called being a human being, right? We all feel these things. I mean, it's just that some people deal with these things differently, obviously, and some of us process this information differently. Some of us bottle it up for a really long time, and then they get their money's worth out of their family therapist. But, you know, so if you come out of anything from this video, there's just a couple of things that I'll end on. One, whatever the hard, really dark, terrible, ugly, shameful, icky, shadowy feelings that you're struggling with, you're not alone. That's most important. And it's vitally important to get these things out. But the key is to do that in a way that's comfortable, that feels safe, that feels manageable. Okay, that's another key to this. And that you can do it in your own way and on your own terms. And I do believe that for those of us that love to journal, part of what attracts us to journaling is just that we can get out thoughts and feelings and I don't mean just the bad things, but also the good things but we can do that in our own way, that a way that feels comfortable, whether it's through, you know, if you're somebody that's really good at drawing and painting, you can get out a lot of these things through your art, through the use of color, through the use of imagery. If you're somebody that likes to collage a lot, sometimes one of the great way to deal with feelings and the things that we struggle with is just through visuals, which we've talked about on this channel before. And it's also something that I would like to talk a little bit more about, if that's something that you guys would be interested in, because I would like to talk about, you know, how we can deal with some things through using the visuals, or not the visuals. What am I, 80? Oh, you know, no, through using visuals and putting together a collection of imagery that can really help us process the things that we need to process. Because like I said before, I can talk a good talk and I can talk a good game, but I'm not great at getting out the really terrible stuff through words. This way works. But I do find a lot that I find great relief when using visuals to get out the feelings that I'm feeling, the things that I want to process. And the other thing that I think that's quite brilliant about doing it this way, especially with the holidays and the holidays and Christmas and what all of that means, with all of that coming up, this is something that you can do you can lock yourself in the bathroom and again, this doesn't have to be a big book, by the way. I really enjoy this size, but if you're somebody who has, like, I don't know, maybe you have kids and you want to lock yourself in the bathroom for 5 minutes and you just have a little notebook and a little Sharpie and you just want to write no, 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 no over and over and over again until you're done peeing. Then do that, right? I mean, I'm just suggesting this because for me, this feels good. This size feels great. But, you know, you can get a lot of emotion out in a very short period of time by using short words and just flipping through the pages and writing it over and over and over again until you feel your jaw unclench, maybe your tummy. This is where I hold it. I hold it in my stomach. And there's so many times during the day, I'll be doing something and I'll sort of check in with myself and I realize that my stomach just is like this. It's hard as a rock. And not in a good ab way. Not in an abs of steel kind of way. And so I'm like, oh, I'm trying to really, sometimes it's really hard to unclench. It shouldn't be, but it is. So, you know, you can you can help your body and your mind sort of come together with a whole lot of 4-letter words, a whole lot of no's, and a whole lot of whatever the word is that you need to say over and over and over again. So, you know, you can be doing something, at least purge some of it, get some of it out, and then you can go back to doing whatever you're doing, knowing that, you know, you kind of let off a little bit of steam. And in your mind, maybe you confronted something that really needed to be confronted. Because the body feels and the body knows everything the mind says. Like, I'm Captain Obvious here, okay? They're not separate. We all know that. And this is why we clench and why we grind. I'm a grinder as well. And why we get headaches and why we get stomach aches and why things ache and why things hurt. Because the body feels what the mind says, right? And this is such a great stress release. I find I do feel better when, because it's so quick and it's fast. And you know, not all of our solutions should be fast and easy, but man, boy, you know, I know I sound like a bit of a broken record, but I really want to impress just how good this can feel. It feels great. And if nothing else, I want you to feel good. I want you to feel better. I want you to be able to exhale. I want you to breathe through the holidays. I want you to be able to breathe through the family gatherings. I want you to breathe through whatever history comes attached to all of that. And if you need to, take a little tiny notebook, make yourself one, because we're all very good at making ourselves notebooks. Find yourself a teeny tiny little pencil. Because who doesn't love teeny tiny little things? Keep it in your pocket. And if you have to go somewhere over this holiday season that's stressful, then keep that with you. You excuse yourself to the bathroom or to a private spot where you can just scribble out some feelings, some words, some exclamation points, some 4-letter, you know, words that you wouldn't say out in family or in public. And then sit there for a minute, feel your body, exhale, and yeah, give yourself your break. Give your body a break, give your mind a break, give your stress level and your blood pressure a break, and just let some stuff out. Because, my friends, I am somebody who for a very, very, very long time didn't let stuff out and didn't want to let things out because I was worried. I was gonna say afraid and it came out worried. Ooh, Freudian slip. I was worried, and I have over the years had great stomach difficulties and headaches that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy because I didn't get the words out and because I didn't get the feelings out. And so, in conclusion, anything that we can do to help get ourselves through some difficult times over the holidays, I think is really imperative. And the easier and the faster that we can do that, meaning if it's a technique, you know, for a lot of people, there's meditation, there's breathing exercises, and those are all great. But, you know, sometimes those things can be difficult to do. And especially if you're really wound up and you're really like, meditation maybe isn't going to solve your problem in that moment, right? So, I'm just saying, give it a shot. Give it a try. I really, like I said, my hope is that this will help. My hope is that it will bring some relief. My hope is that it will bring some healing. Lord knows we all could use some healing. That's my hope for you. And that's my hope for this video, is that somewhere in all of my 34 minutes of ranting and rambling, that you will find something in here that connects with you, and that you can see yourself reflected somehow back in it, and that you can see somewhere in any of this video a little tiny solution to some of the problems that you're facing when it comes to the darker feelings. Because the holidays can be a huge struggle. It shouldn't be. It should be a wonderful time. It should be full of love and laughter and happiness and joy, and that's all what we want for the people that we love. But sometimes it's just not. It's just not. And it's unrealistic as we move through our life to think that every holiday and every Thanksgiving and every Christmas and every birthday and every anniversary is just going to be picture perfect, because sadly they're not. They're not. So I'm going to leave it there, because I think that is a good place to end on it. Don't beat yourself up if, it's not the perfect Thanksgiving and it's not the perfect Christmas. And I always say this, and I really mean it, and I say it as much for you as I do for me. Speak kindly to yourself. Be really aware of the words that you use when you speak to yourself, the tone that you use when you speak to yourself. And if you find that you are giving yourself a hard time and you're being mean, because some of the things we say to ourselves is crazy. Guilty as charged. Take a deep breath. Know that you have been kind of not so great to yourself. Let it go and start fresh. And, I don't mean to make light of difficult situations and difficult emotions and difficult feelings, but it really is just about giving yourself the tiniest of break, the tiniest of relief in whatever way you can find it when you're facing difficult times and challenges and difficult people. So, until the next video, thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for giving me this time and space to be really honest, because sometimes it's a little scary. Not gonna lie. So have a great weekend, everybody. If you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a little thumbs up. Sophie has been sleeping through the whole thing. Lucy's still lurking around. Oh, she's gonna make a sort of appearance there, maybe. See if she'll get to the other donut. Yep, okay, there we go. She's at home base. So, thanks again, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Mwah. Take care. Speak kindly to yourselves. Bye.